welcome to Myers ASMR. How are you doing? Relax. Relax. It just gets better and better. It just gets better and better. Every day in every way. Well, look what I got. I picked up a chicken pot pie from Trader Joe's. And I have not tasted yet, so let's just have at it. I had it in the oven for a long time because I didn't let it thaw, so it took a long time for it to warm up. This is like the biggest chicken pot pie I've ever seen. So good. It's not too salty. This crust is so flaky. Wow. It's big though. The first time I saw a square one. I like how it's not too salty. That's a novelty. Seems to have more vegetables than anything, but that's healthy. I think I got one from Whole Foods that had these big chunks of chicken. I tasted a cold spot. I mean, I had this in the oven for almost an hour. It shouldn't still be cold, but it was completely frozen. I didn't thaw it because I was hungry. just because close to the middle it's still cold. I sure do love a good crust. I should start making these. My crust wouldn't be flaky though, because I wouldn't use Crisco. Let me get around. Oh. Get around to the warm parts. I'm really making headway with this. I didn't think I would. Don't you just love the sound of that crust? that last bite was cold. So it did not get heated up thoroughly. And that's okay because that was quite filling. That's plain filtered water. The best. Let's see where we left off with The Great Gatsby. Jordan's fingers, powdered white over their tan, rested for a moment in mine. "And Mr. Thomas Buchanan, the athlete?" I inquired. Simultaneously, I heard his voice, gruff, muffled, husky, at the hall telephone. Gatsby stood in the center of the crimson carpet and gazed around with fascinated eyes. Daisy watched him and laughed her sweet, exciting laugh. A tiny gust of powder rose from her bosom into the air. "The rumor is," whispered Jordan, "that that's Tom's girl on the phone." We were silent. The voice in the hall rose high with annoyance. "Very well, then I won't sell you the car at all. I'm under no obligations to you at all. And as for your bothering me about it at lunchtime, I won't stand that at all." Holding down the receiver, said Daisy cynically. "No, he's not," I assured her. "It's a bona fide deal. I happen to know about it." Tom flung open the door, blocked out its space for a moment with his thick body, and hurried into the room. "Mr. Gatsby." He put out his broad, flat hand with well-concealed dislike. "I'm glad to see you, sir. Nick." "Make us a cold drink," cried Gatsby. "Oops," cried Daisy. As he left the room again, she got up and went over to Gatsby and pulled his face down, kissing him on the mouth. "You know I love you," she murmured. "You forget there's a lady present," said Jordan. Daisy looked around doubtfully. "You kissed Nick too." What a low, vulgar girl. "I don't care," cried Daisy, and began to clog on the brick fireplace. Then she remembered the heat and sat down guiltily on the couch, just as a freshly laundered nurse leading a little girl came into the room. "Blessed precious," she crooned, holding out her arms. "Come to your own mother that loves you." The child, relinquished by the nurse, rushed across the room and rooted shyly into her mother's dress. "The blessed precious. Did mother get powder on your old yellow hair? Stand up now and say, 'Howdy do.'" Gatsby and I turned, leaned down, and took the small, reluctant hand. Afterward, he kept looking at the child with surprise. I don't think he had ever really believed in its existence before. "I got dressed before luncheon," said the child, turning eagerly to Daisy. "That's because your mother wanted to show you off." Her face bent into the single wrinkle of the small white neck. "You dream, you absolute little dream." "Yes," admitted the child calmly. "Aunt Jordan's got on a white dress, too." "How do you like your mother's friends?" Daisy turned her around so that she faced Gatsby. "Do you think they're pretty? Where's Daddy?" She doesn't look like her father, explained Daisy. She looks like me. She's got my hair and shape of the face. Daisy sat back upon the couch. The nurse took a step forward and held out her hand. Come, Pammy. Goodbye, sweetheart. With a reluctant, backward glance, the well-disciplined child held to her nurse's hand and was pulled out the door. Just as Tom came back, preceding 4 gin rickeys that clicked full of ice, Gatsby took up his drink. They certainly look cool, he said with visible tension. We drank in long, greedy swallows. I read somewhere that the sun's getting hotter every year, said Tom genially. It seems that pretty soon the Earth's going to fall into the sun. Or, wait a minute, it's just the opposite. The sun's getting colder every year. Come outside, he suggested to Gatsby. I'd like you to have a look at the place. I went with them out to the veranda. On the green sound, stagnant in the heat, one small snail crawled slowly toward the fresher sea. Gatsby's eyes followed it momentarily. He raised his hand and pointed across the bay. I'm right across from you. So you are. Our eyes lifted over the rose beds and the hot lawn and the weedy refuse of the dog days along shore. Slowly the white wings of the boat moved against the blue, cool limit of the sky. Ahead lay the scalloped ocean and the abandoning Blessed Isles. There's sport for you, said Tom, nodding. I'd like to be out there with him for about an hour. We had luncheon in the dining room, darkened too against the heat, and drank down nervous gaiety with the cold ale. What'll we do with ourselves this afternoon? Cried Daisy. And the day after that? And the next 30 years? Don't be morbid, Jordan said. Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. But it's so hot, insisted Daisy, on the verge of tears. And everything's so confused. Let's all go to town. Her voice struggled on through the heat, beating against it, molding its senselessness into forms. I've heard of making a garage out of a table, Tom was saying to Gatsby. But I'm the first man who ever made a stable out of a garage. I'm going to pause it right here. Remember that it just gets better and better. It just gets better and better all the time. You know, if you want to do a collaboration or sponsor me and send me some freebies to review, let me know. Let's talk. And if you like what I'm doing here, like and subscribe, donate to the cause. Catch me in the next video. And may you find lasting happiness. Bye.